Hello and welcome back to Formula 1 2019 on the TomFM channel, and today we are fresh from our victory last time out in Austria and we're going through to the British Grand Prix today, our home Grand Prix, in search for another win and another 25 points on the board. As you can see, after last episode's win, we've bumped ourselves up to third in the drivers' standings, but we're still quite some way behind Charles Leclerc and we are 50 points behind top place Lewis Hamilton. So we've got it all to play for as we go into the second half of the season now. So a long way to go still. Hopefully we can catch those guys up. In the Constructors' Championship though, it's not looking quite so good as Max Verstappen is down on 66 points. Paired with our 114 points, we've got 180 total and we're nearly 100 points behind the Mercedes team. So we need to do a lot of work in the second half of the season. We need some good results from Max Verstappen as well to help us get the Constructors' standings as well. No upgrades at all coming in for today's race. We've only got some upgrades coming in for Germany next time round. So no actual upgrades at all, but we are still, I think, if we find the performance chart, we're still the top team apparently as things stand, ahead of Mercedes and Ferrari in terms of R&D, so that's pretty good. But you can see it's very, very close between us and Mercedes. Ferrari have dropped off a little bit, but Haas and Renault are starting to catch up a little bit now, so we need to watch out for those guys in the next few episodes or so. As we head into qualifying, we can't change anything right now, AI driver level and things like that, but we're still on 85. We talked about last time maybe upping it a little bit, but a few in the comment section said no, keep it as it is for now for these next few races. Use that to determine whether we should go up or down in terms of our AI driver difficulty. So we're going to stick with 85 for this race and perhaps the next few races as well. But if we start to win races more and more comfortably, that's probably when we need to look to turn it up a little bit. As per usual, leaving it pretty late in qualifying before we get our lap in. We need to beat 15th or above to get into Q2, the second part of qualifying. So we need to beat a 132 to get in there, which I think we should be pretty comfortable in doing. And as we come across the line for our hot lap here in Silverstone, Silverstone is definitely one of my favourite tracks on the entire F1 calendar, not just because it's a home Grand Prix for me in the British Grand Prix, but because it's got so much history and it's always a good race in Silverstone as well. So hopefully we'll have a good entertaining race here today and hopefully we'll get ourselves on pole position in the process. These Maggots and Beckett's corners here that we go through as well, these are, I've got it wrong there completely, but these are my favourite corners in all of Formula 1 racing. Maybe the Sennaresses at Suzuka, they're pretty good as well, but I just think they're so much fun to do. And when you nail them, like I didn't do there, but when you nailed them, it was really good that you've nailed it completely. So that's a great little set of corners. I think one of my favourite set of corners in the whole calendar, along with Suzuka. As we come around the final corner, though, we need to beat a 132, and we've got a 130.9, I think it was in the end there. So we're fifth on the grid after Q1, which is pretty good. I think we lost a lot of time there in Maggots and Beckett's, but it's a good benchmark at least. Now, as we head into Q2, I think we need to get an early lap in, because if we look at the weather here, you can see in 10 minutes time there's going to be a bit of rain, so we need to get some early laps in. But also, I kind of feel like I want to go onto the medium tyre, maybe. I feel like that could be an option for us, because I think if we go on the medium tyre in Q2, we start on the medium tyre, if we get our fastest lap of course. And that might give us a bit more of a strategy option maybe. So I feel like we're going to give it a go on the medium tyre pretty early on in this session. Now as we come across the line for our flying lap here in Q2, I can already see some spots of rain on the camera and things like that, which isn't great. But hopefully we'll be out before a lot of other teams and people do their laps, and they'll have to go on the intermediates, and we've got out on the softs, or the mediums rather, so they'll have to go on their wet weather tyres basically. Magnussen's just done a 132 as the fastest lap so far in Q2. Leclerc's done a 132 as well, so if we can sort of get below that, obviously, if we can get close to the 130s, I think we should be okay for Q1, but you can never quite tell. I've messed that corner up a bit as well, I feel, and Hamilton's done a 131 as well. Verstappen's gaining on us, so I don't really feel that confident. Maybe we shouldn't have gone onto the mediums. We should have gone onto the softs. And as the rain is starting to come down a bit now, and Verstappen looks to line an overtake against us, I don't really mind if he finishes ahead of us, obviously, because he's our teammate and we want to do well as a team. As we come round the penultimate corners, though, Verstappen, why are you going for overtakes in qualifying, lad? Don't bother. I don't think we're actually going to get a good time here. We need to beat a 131, and we're already behind that. A 130, it puts us 8th, 9th even on the grid. Verstappen, just go past us, lad. Right, let's return to the garage. I think I could have messed this up completely, lads. I really think I could have done. So we're still 9th right now. We're still 9th, which is good on a 133. But let's go a bit faster. I'm hoping that it's just started raining and we got our time in before everyone else got their time in, which I think could be what's happened here. Because no one's out on the track, everyone's inside. There's only one car on the track. I think we've played a bit of a blinder there, We've somehow got through into Q3 there, which is obviously very good for us. However, it does also mean that I think we can start the race on the medium tyres, which means we can go a bit longer in the race. Means we can avoid all the pit stop crashes and things like that. I think we could have quite a good race of this. Obviously, qualifying now is also very wet. It looks like it's going to rain quite a lot towards the end of the session. So I think we need to get out now on the intermediates before it gets a bit too wet. As we start our flying lap though in Q3, it is quite wet out there. Maybe intermediates aren't the best tyres to go for as we slip and slide around turn 1 there into turn 2 and turn 3. The braking zone here will sort of say if we're on the right tyres or not. We've sort of stayed grippy enough though, so maybe we've just timed this right for intermediates before it gets too wet. We'll have to wait and see what other people do, though, with their times. Now, I think we have timed it perfectly. I think we really have timed it perfectly. Ricciardo with a 1:44 as the fastest lap, which is... I think we're gaining on the Ferrari ahead of us as well, which is quite nice to see. I think we're gaining on that Ferrari. We're slipping and sliding a little bit, but we are keeping the grip. I think we have timed this absolutely perfectly. We've just done a fastest sector 2 as well, which is also very, very promising before it starts to rain even more. Because when it starts to rain even more, the wet tyres are obviously going to be slower than the intermediate tyres. I tell you what, I think we've actually played an absolute blinder as we come around these penultimate corners here. We've definitely gained on the Ferrari ahead of us. I think we're going to beat that 1:42 set by Ricciardo. We are. Oh, we're not. Verstappen got a 1:42 in the end. We're 4th on the grid then, as things stand. I'd say let's do another lap on these tyres as we go round, but we're already down by 0.3 seconds. We've gone wide through there, losing even more time, half a second down on our previous. There's no point going for it now. And from now on, it's just going to get wetter and wetter. So I've not played an absolute blinder there, lads. We've not played... Well, we kind of have. But it's not quite worked out how I wanted it to. And at this stage, no one else is going out because they can't get any faster, obviously. So I think it's going to be 5th on the grid for us. Which isn't too bad. But it could have been a lot better. So we are confirmed 5th on the grid for the race. As you can see, though, top 5 separated by 0.3 seconds. So it's really, really close. That's the difference between us all. Good job from Max Verstappen to get on 2nd on the grid, obviously. But we've got all our work to do to get back ahead of him and Lewis Hamilton to make sure we win tomorrow's British Grand Prix. So after yesterday's rain and qualifying, it's actually worked out quite well because we've got a dry race today and we can start, of course, on the medium compound tyres, whereas everyone else has to start on the softs, I believe. So we should be able to go longer. But we're not going longer for some reason. We're staying out only 5 laps before switching. If we edit this race strategy then, and I think it would mean we stay away from some of the early pit stop mentalness that goes on. So I think that is the pit stop we're going to go for. We'll go 6 laps on the medium, 7 laps on the soft. So that should be, I think, ideal for us. Right, 5 lights await us. Now the AI always get ridiculously good start, so expect the front 4 to get ahead of us and expect Weber to sort of come alongside us and overtake us straight away, which he kind of is doing already as we've been hit from behind. What happened there? What the hell happened there? Right, let's go on board with this McLaren then of Lando Norris and we'll see what happened here as he comes forward. It's maybe us cutting in front of him a little bit. Either way, I'm not taking that as my fault. We're going to restart the session. Second time lucky then. You've not watched 7 minutes to 10 minutes of qualifying for me to be knocked out before the first corner. This time, it's lights out and away we go. We'll make the early move to the outside of the track this time to see if we can maybe, as Weber's very aggressive there. We go all the way around the outside. We actually get around Butler around the outside there. And this time switching to the inside to maybe go down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Doesn't quite work, but a great overtake there. We may have used a bit more track limits than we should have done, but we got past some key people there in Butler. That's very good. Up into 4th position already. And if we can chase down Charles Leclerc before the end of this first lap and overtake him, that would be a fantastic opening lap of the race as we go wide to try and get a better line to overtake Leclerc. It doesn't quite work out for us as he goes very slow through that corner there, and we have to really fight with the car to slow it down, and then he gets a better acceleration away from us. And Devon Butler is right on our tail now, looking for an overtake on us. As we come to Maggots and Beckett's though, I had to concentrate through that corner so we didn't actually crash out of it, because I thought I might have crashed out of that corner if I spoke through it, because I had to really concentrate. I've not nailed Maggots and Beckett's there, and Leclerc is starting to pull away just a little bit from us. But of course, we apparently have the best engine in the game now. So really, this should be, well, we should be catching up a little bit as Butler is looking to come down our inside. He's not managed to get the overtake done, which is very good, obviously. And actually, I think we have made a bit of ground to the squabbling front three as they try and overtake each other down that straight and the next few corners, obviously. I'm hitting the corners a bit too hard and it's unsettling the car a little bit, I've got to say, which isn't great. But it's been a pretty decent opening lap of the race, I've got to say. What we have to remember as well is that the cars in front of us, they're all going to be on a faster tyre than us, because we're obviously doing the reverse strategy, going on the medium tyre first, then moving on to the softs later on. Obviously, we've got to remember that. So they are going to be faster than us, so catching up with them is going to be very hard, and it's also going to be very tough to defend from Butler, who's also going to be on the faster compound tyre as well. So we've got to remember that, but they should be pitting earlier than us. I assume they're going to be pitting lap 3, lap 4. I hope they are at least, because that's kind of what I'm banking on. We're pitting on lap 6, I believe, if I remember what I've set it to, lap 6. So we've got to rely on these cars pitting early and then us putting in some fast laps. As we come down the Hanger Straight, I think now we're going to actually, well, I say we're going to start catching up the cars in front of us. Butler has just got past us like a breeze as we go down his inside to try and get the move back on him. He's got the faster tyre than us, obviously, so he's going to, and he had slipstream, so no wonder he was getting past us. But we do have the best engine now, according to all the R&D stuff that came out recently, obviously in last episode. So I'd like to think if we can stay close to Butler, DRS is now enabled on this lap. If we can stay close to him, we should be able to get some overtakes done in the DRS zone. DRS zone is coming up now. Then we should have it in what, 150 metres or so. So we'll get around this corner, open the DRS like we have done. And we should be getting quite close to Devon, but I think this is going to be too short to actually make a move on him, unfortunately. It is too short in the end. But we are a bit closer to him, and obviously the next DRS straight is going to be the Hanger Straight, unless we can engineer a move. I thought we could maybe go down the inside of him there, but there wasn't enough track to do so we couldn't do it. As we go through Maggots and Beckett's, though, I don't know how fast Butler is going to be through these turns, as we have to brake a little heavier than usual, actually, I believe, to sort of not crash into the back of him. We do have some good traction out that corner though. We've got DRS on Devon Butler now. This is it. Let's get this move done on him. Let's get the move done. We're right there. Let's head down the inside. Beautifully done. Ahead of Devon Butler once again. And we are right on the tail again of Lewis Hamilton now. He's dropped down to 5th. And it's Leclerc in 2nd. So actually our teammate, Max Verstappen, has taken the lead of the race, which is good for Team Red Bull, but not good for me necessarily. I've just been told to check my strategy options here. Are they suggesting that we need to pit earlier? They want us to pit on lap 5. What? I didn't confirm anything there. It just literally said confirmed. I didn't press any button on my thing at all. So as Butler gets ahead of us with DRS, even though I think we had DRS for some reason as well, we must have been within a second of Hamilton. We do get the move done around the outside though, which is good, and we're pretty close to Hamilton now as well. As we're into Maggots and Beckett's, Butler is trying to get this move done on us here, and actually he's made it work, and we nearly go straight into the back of him. Fortunately for us though, we will have DRS on him once again though, and actually we might get the move done before we even need to use DRS. I'll say that, we are right on his tail. Move to the outside of the track, get the better corner, and he's actually kept it on the inside. We carry a bit more pace around the outside, have to use more of a track than we should have done. It's an exciting battle between us and Butler. Very exciting. No other cars pitted yet as well, which is quite frustrating. I thought they would have all pitted by now. The idea to stay on these medium tyre compounds hasn't worked out too well for us. However, in the second half of the race, as we go for another audacious overtake on Butler there, so he came right alongside us. We had to really not back out of that to maintain position. The advantage is now, of course, when we pit, we're going to be on the red soft tyre compound, which is going to be faster than these mediums that other cars are going to be on around us. So that might give us an advantage, but we are now losing ground to the cars ahead of us. So maybe we need to be pitting a little quicker, because we are 0.6 down on where we were last lap. As you can see, Hamilton is on the medium tyre as well. So actually, me and Hamilton both started on that medium tyre compound. So we're both going to go on to the softs. We should be quite fast in the second part of this race. Whereas our teammate Verstappen, who's actually miles ahead now at the front of this race, he's going to go on to this slower medium tyre after his pit stop, as is Charles Leclerc. So it might end up being a bit of a battle between us and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton goes into pit now. We should have done that. We should have pitted them because I think everyone else is going to pit on this next lap instead, aren't they? Oh, I've definitely... I think I've made a mistake there. We should have pitted and had an extra lap on the softs, but it means we can push the softs for an extra lap if we do go in a lap later. Oh, I don't know if that was the right move or not. We'll find out if we come out ahead of Hamilton, if we stay out. We're meant to pit on this lap anyway. I wanted to pit on this lap, but I'm tempted to... If the cars ahead of us pit, I think I'm going to stay out because I don't want to get caught up in like... Because if Verstappen ahead of us pits, we might have to wait behind him, and I don't want to wait for that. We're going to move it up to the rich mix. We're going to move it up to our fastest fuel setting to see if we can set some fast laps on this one, on this lap obviously, and maybe next lap as well. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. But it all depends if Verstappen pits. And that sort of paid off there, because we've just set a fastest lap of the race there, or fastest sector 2 of the entire race there. So maybe we do actually stay out on these tyres a little longer. How much wear have they got? Only about 30% or so. We're not going to pit yet, and neither did Verstappen or Charles Leclerc. They didn't pit either, but because we're maybe about to set a fastest lap of the race, there's no point pitting yet, because if we're going to pit, we may as well pit when our tyres are dead, and we nearly set the fastest lap of the race there. So we'll stay out for a little longer on these tyres. We are pretty close to Charles Leclerc now. We've actually got DRS on Charles Leclerc, which is good. His tyres must be wearing pretty badly now, which obviously plays into our hands because our tyres last longer than his do, which is why we can stay out longer as well. But as we really get close to Charles Leclerc now, we could be reeling him in as we set a fastest sector 1, as we go down the inside. There's a bit of contact with Charles Leclerc. I think, though, we have got the move done on him, as you can see he's alongside us. He is behind us now, though, which is fantastic. He's hit us. Right, is this my fault? If it's my fault, I'll accept it. I don't think that is my fault. I think I'm entitled to the racing line because I am the whole car ahead. He needs to back off there, in my opinion. That's all Charles Leclerc's fault. So, in my opinion, I'm going to restart from there. I don't think I need to... I think it's not my... If it was my fault, I'd take that completely. But it's not my fault, in my opinion. So, we're going to carry on racing. Not get quite as close to Leclerc, because I don't think he's going to back off. But we stay ahead of him, which is obviously advantageous to us. And now it's just Verstappen that we need to reel in. But we're currently on a very fast lap here, and I feel like we could end up getting fastest lap of the race, so we won't pit on this lap either, because I want to get fastest lap. Now Verstappen has just gone into the pits, you can see there, so we won't follow him in obviously. We're going to pit on this next lap though, and it looks like a lot of cars have pitted actually. Weber stayed out as well, but we need to make this lap count now. How have we got fastest lap? We didn't get fastest lap of the race though, which is quite frustrating. Obviously, we slowed down quite a bit in Sector 2 and 3, but we need to really go pedal to the metal here on lap 8 to make sure we get the overcut done on some of these cars. But we have just set a purple Sector 2, but I think now is the time to pit. We have to pit now. Even though we set a purple Sector 2, we can't really leave it too much later. So we're going to go into the pits now, and hopefully it all works out for us. So Max Weber is going to take the lead of the race because he's staying out for another lap for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It's a long pit straight, this one, so we've got to be careful. By the looks of things, though, we should be able to get in and out without any sort of delays, as a few cars are starting to come in now. We should be in and out before them, though, but we might get caught up in some traffic. As you can see, coming around the final corner now are a few cars, all back markers. There's no Ferraris or anything there. That is the Sauber, sorry, the Alfa Romeo Sauber of Giovinazzi ahead of us in the red. We could be overtaken here, though. We've been overtaken by Russell, but here is Lewis Hamilton and our our current teammate. Hamilton comes out just ahead of us, Verstappen alongside us. Hamilton, really, he benefits the most out of all this. We benefit second because we've just come out ahead of our teammates. But that was exciting, and now we've got it all to do against Hamilton on the soft compound tyre. Verstappen should be left in the dust in the next few laps because we're going to be on the fastest tyre. We just have to try and keep up now with Lewis Hamilton and try and get an overtake on him. I've got to say, this has been the most exciting race that we've had all season. And now as we're gaining on Hamilton down the old pit straight, we're not going to go for an overtake in that corner, but we might be able to get a bit of traction. We're obviously going to have DRS on him. He's being held up by George Russell as well, which isn't good for him. Very good for us, though. As we come through Maggots and Beckett's and into Copse, And we've got some good traction away from the corner. We're alongside Lewis Hamilton, who's also got DRS on George Russell, obviously. It's 3 wide now as we go into this big corner, which I can't remember the name of. We've hit Hamilton. There's a contact between us and Hamilton. Hamilton stays on the track. We stay on the track, so it's not too bad. We've had no warnings for collisions there either. I think that was just a racing incident, but we have got ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. And I think we've stayed ahead of him as well. We've stayed ahead of him, which is fantastic. Right, we're currently on lap 10 of 13. Looks like Verstappen has actually also got ahead of Lewis Hamilton as well. So maybe Hamilton did get a bit damage in the contact we had with him, but we've not been given a warning for anything like that. I don't think he has either. It's just a racing incident. That's what I'm going to call it. But it may have been advantageous to Max Verstappen there as well, as he's got ahead of Hamilton, who's starting to drop down a little bit as well. So this is a really good race for Team Red Bull. Verstappen is just over a second behind us. He's got no DRS on us, which is really good. Of course, we're on the faster, fresher tyres as well. So really, it's just going to be a matter of staying ahead of him, basically. I think we should be pulling away, basically. I think as we get to the end of a lap, when we look at the timings, you'll see that there'll be an even bigger gap between us and Verstappen, which is good. If that's the case, this should be our race to win then, or our race to lose, I should say, because if we end up losing it from this position, as we are slightly more ahead of where we were before in terms of time, as we pick up the fastest lap of the race with that lap too, which is really good. It's all coming up trumps. Is that the phrase? I'm not sure if that's the phrase. It's looking good for us either way. We started 5th on the grid, but the strategy that we employed has worked out perfectly well. And it looks like we're going to be winning the British Grand Prix. And as we cross the line for our final lap of the race, we actually were quite slow on that lap. I didn't really do a good job, but we're over 2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, our teammate now. As long as we don't crash on this lap, we should be winning the British Grand Prix and our first back-to-back win in this whole series, which is fantastic. The car has been absolutely incredible as well. We've really done well on the R&D over the first half of the season. It's coming up trumps now, and we are really using its full potential. We are miles ahead of the other cars now, which is absolutely fantastic. The Red Bull engine, the Red Bull car working beautifully well around Silverstone here today. But also on a personal level, the strategy today was absolutely perfect. I don't think we could have had a better strategy if we tried. I think we played that to absolute perfection there. Obviously starting on the medium compound tyres and keeping it with the other cars around us, that was a massive help to us. And then switching on to these soft tyres at the very end of the race, well, that's just helped us blow away our teammate Verstappen. We've got miles ahead of Leclerc, who's now in 3rd place actually, and Hamilton obviously has dropped down to 4th place. He must have some damage actually after that collision we had with him. But it was a racing incident. That's what we got no warnings for it, so it was a racing incident in my eyes. I don't think anything too bad can be said about that. Obviously, Hamilton's come off worse after he was winning the race, but it was a racing incident. There were 3 wide going into the corner. It's just kind of what happens, I suppose, in that sort of scenario. And as we come across the final corner, we have won the British Grand Prix, my home Grand Prix. We take home the full 26 points today because, of course, we get a bonus point for fastest lap as well. So 26 points. Verstappen, our teammate, in 2nd. It's a perfect day for Red Bull. And somehow, I don't know how I've missed this, but it looks like Devon Butler has got onto the podium in 3rd place. Hamilton dropped down, and somehow Devon Butler's come out of nowhere to overtake both Hamilton and Leclerc on the final lap. Somehow he's got there, but the story today is all about the Red Bulls and all about me winning the race from 5th position. I'm so pleased and happy with that one. And I think it was all due to the strategy there. The strategy worked so well. I'm so happy with that. So Red Bull 1-2 with Butler in 3rd, Leclerc in 4th, and Hamilton dropped down to 5th in the end, which isn't too good for him. Vettel down in 8th, but he started 14th. Obviously, he was caught out by some of the rain in Q2 and things like that. So that's obviously what happened with him. If we look down at the standings, though, the drivers' standings, we are getting closer and closer to the top now. We're only 34 points behind Lewis Hamilton in the top. We're not too far off Charles Leclerc as well, so hopefully the next few races will catch up. No improvement for Verstappen, but he has had quite a good points haul there. As we look at the constructors, we are getting closer, down to 74 points behind the Mercedes team after we were nearly 100 points behind them. So that is really good from us. So luckily for us, we managed to win all 5 points against our rival Max Verstappen, who's our teammate. Apparently though, after the rivalry with Butler expired, it just expires completely. So we need to pick a new rival, which we're going to do right now. So our new rival to select then, I suppose, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton, who's top of the driver's standings. It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. If we want to win the driver's standings and the driver's title at the end of the season, we've got to be beating Hamilton. So he's going to be our new rival alongside Max Verstappen. In terms of R&D, we've got 1,700 points to spend on R&D. We're looking... It's always aerodynamics, which is good. It's always the engine that we need to improve on. So we'll see what we can do in terms of the engine department. For 700... Yeah, 700 for 2 weeks. We'll get ERS cooling. That should work. Oh, apparently we can't do that. Because, we can't have simultaneous development on the same part. So in that case, we need to go to the chassis. Let's upgrade our chassis a little bit as well for 1,000 points there. And if we look at the wings, we can't afford any improvements on aero. We're not going to do any durability because we're only doing this for 1 season, obviously. So there's no point really upgrading our durability and stuff. So in that case, I think what we're going to do then is save our points, and hopefully next time around we'll have loads of points to spend and we'll have a lot of upgrades coming in for the later stages of the season, which is going to be really good. In terms of the engine itself, energy store unit is probably going to need replacing. I think we're over week 10 now, so actually the energy store unit can be replaced, so we'll replace that going in for the next race, which would be good. Internal combustion engine is looking a little wear, a little worn, but I think we can leave that for another race or 2 actually before we change things over, so that's alright with me. And that is that for the British Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching, and join us next time in Germany, where hopefully we have another really mental race. Have a good one. Goodbye.